Hello, hello. Hi again. So I'm gonna make another video just based on relationships. Um, I recorded it once on Facebook, and I thought I could take it from Facebook and put it on YouTube, but found out I can't. So I'm just gonna do it again. Repetition is the mother of learning. Anyway, I'm talking about relationships, but most importantly, the thing I'm talking about relationships in this one is the end of certain relationships. The breakup. The big B word. Sounding redundant. Um, so we all have breakups. We're all gonna have our relationships. We're all gonna get breakups. Now, my points that I'm gonna talk about are gonna be the points that I think anybody could really associate or use when they break up with a person, and it also helps you kind of understand the situation to either get over it or move on. So with that being said, and without further ado, we have breakups. And the eyes wide was kind of creepy. Anyway, the first thing you want to ask is why you guys broke up. Okay? You want to take a second and look at it from the outside in, from a third person perspective. Understand, why did you guys break up? What happened in the relationship, or what was going on in the relationship that really was it beneficial for you? Did you feel like the person was helping you grow, supporting you, or did you feel like this person was bringing you down because they had their own kind of anger and frustration that they needed to have somebody in order to get out of themselves? For example, was the relationship violent? Was there mutual understanding, mutual respect? Yeah, those are just some three things I can think of off the top of my head. Alright, now, the next step to follow right after the breakup, or after you've had your moment of sorrow and woes, there's another important part, is the mourning. You do have to get all that out of your system. But I'm going to come back and I'll tell you how. Next thing you want to do is cut all communications. I'm talking about Facebook. I'm talking about AIM. I'm talking about cell phone. I'm gonna go as far to say Twitter. You can't talk to this person anymore. You broke up. You're cut. Boom. Done. That's it. They're out. You broke up for a reason. A break up. When I break something, look, here's one piece. The other piece is gone. It's broken. Okay? You can't be with the other person for whatever reason, and there's going to be a lot of emotions there, so just break it all together. Next point is that I'm going to tell you, and this is how you kind of can get your frustration out in these next 2 points. The first thing you want to do is date other people. See other people. You're going to want to see other people just because it'll get your mind off of it. You'll be able to have fun, go out, talk to people. You know what I mean? But when you're going out with the person, you don't want to compare them. You don't want to put them on this standard, okay, like, this is what I had, and in order for me to be happy, you either need to be here or better. Because in reality, nobody is better or worse than anybody. We're just different. Alright? Now, mind you, we're different in our personalities, but we're not different in how we operate. Essentially, and psychology will tell you, we all are pretty much like animals. We operate the same. Our characteristics are different, but the way we function is the same. Okay. So, now that I've discussed about dating, next thing you also want to kind of check into is a rebound. Unfortunately, you kind of do need a rebound. It's just a part of it. I mean, you don't need one, but it does kind of help you get over the woes and the affection, just because you have a lot of frustration. And I'm not advocating, sex with other people or massive amounts of people. I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying date the other person. Maybe make out. Where it goes from there, that's on you, world. Alright, next thing you want to do, find a hobby. Okay? One, you're going to cry, you're going to be upset, of course. this a part of it. But these are the last point I mentioned in this one, find a hobby, will help you get over it. You need to find something to occupy your time, because it's unhealthy to be sitting in a house or sitting in your bed for hours on end crying and sulking about this person. You can't. You really physically can't. You're going to feel depressed, and people will be able to tell. You're going to be basically a vegetable walking around out of depression. And all you're going to be able to think about is the hurt and pain, and that's not healthy. It's not. You need to live your life and enjoy it. Just because the other person is no longer in your life doesn't mean you can't enjoy life without them. So find a hobby, painting, pick up an instrument, photography. Do something. Okay? Alright. Next point I want to talk about is, what do you do when someone asks you about the relationship? Now, this is key, because the more that you vent and the more that you talk about it, the more you're going to be reaffirming your feelings for that person. If you hate them, you have to have a level of love for them. With love comes hate. It's yin and yang. You can't have one without the other. They're just the two sides of the same coin. Okay? So the more that you talk about how much you dislike them and how much you're just so angry, the more you're reaffirming your affection for that person, because the more you care enough to care. You care enough to hate them. So if you care enough to hate them, another side of it is that you could care enough to love them. Or like them, whatever the case may be. Next point. And this is my last point that I'm going to bring up, and it kind of brings it all full circle. Now that you've gone through all these steps, mind you, if you've been following this and you've cut all communication, the one thing that they will be doing is kind of trying to message you. Throughout this time period, they will be trying to call you, trying to text you, trying, to talk to you. And by you showing, or you ignoring them, I should say, for you showing the lack of attention, excuse the AOL sounds, for you showing this lack of attention, what's going to happen is that they're going to see that this person sees that you don't need to have somebody. Remember, nobody is a necessity. People are just accessories. Alright? You don't need anybody else. I'm sorry if I'm stepping on some toes here, but the idea that the other person completes me, it doesn't exist. You need to be a whole person on your own before you can enter a relationship with another person, period. Okay? So, back to my point. They will have been calling you, and they're going to see that you can stand on your own, that you don't need to be with this person. Now you make a decision. After you have done your evaluating of what the relationship was and why you guys broke up, ask yourself, do I get back with them or do I move on? Was the relationship worth something? Was there something there? What parts of the relationship were good? And you have to really see it. Point blank, let me tell you this. If a guy hits you, if a guy so much as touches you in a hurtful way, that's a sign. Relationship's no good. Bye-bye. Alright? You don't need to be abused. If that ever happens and you go through this and you're thinking, oh, well, it was okay. He was just angry. You don't understand him. You don't know him the way I do. Yeah, BS. Understand what the relationship was, and once you've done all this, not only will you be able to see the situation for what it is, but you also have a better understanding of yourself and a better understanding of how to approach relationships. Because with every experience, we should be learning and growing. And to end this point, I'm going to say this. Back to my necessity and accessory point. Nobody is a necessity. You don't need anybody. At the end of this life, we're not going to have anybody but ourselves. You need to come to terms with that. Once you've understood that you have to be full on your own, then you will start to see that the relationships you have are going to be a lot more fruitful, because it's two people not so much completing each other, but more complementing each other, bringing out each other's best qualities. And they say till death do us part, but hey, someone's going to die first.